married another wife.
Okay.
Throughout her life with Imam Ali never thought of bringing in another wife.
Okay.
I think it is on the basis of this fact that some people conclude that she campaigned against polygamy. And even if she did...
No, I read this hadith that was narrated that Nana Fatima was actually not happy when someone walked in and gave her the news that, hey, have you heard that your husband was going to marry Abu Jahal's daughter? And suddenly she got so much jealous, to the extent that Ali radiallahu anhu himself had to reckon with it, and it meant that she didn't like the whole idea of her husband, though permitted by the Quran, getting married to another. On another note, I thought, women are generally jealous, and definitely there would be.
Yes,
but do you think that it's an enough justification to say that she was against polygamy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Based on what you have just said, women are naturally jealous. Not even women, even men.
Okay.
It is just a fundamental nature of man.
Okay.
So, excuse me to even say, someone will even say God himself is jealous because God does not like someone
exactly,
to associate partners
with
him.
God, and so, he alone deserves worship.
Yes, exactly. But listen, on the rational point of view, even if she campaigned against polygamy, if you look at the concept of polygamy, although Muslims, excuse me to say, can say that it is being misused being misused by Muslims.
Okay.
It is meant. Polygamy is not meant for anyone, every Muslim to do, because of even the Holy Quran stated that وَلَنْ تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَنْ تَعْدِلُوا, you can never do or establish justice the way Almighty Allah wants it, but you have to do justice within the framework of your capability, as far as both women or the 3 or 4 women are concerned. But I don't think Fatima categorically campaigned. Maybe she express her resentment against the idea that her husband Imam Ali
which would have been something normal.
Exactly.
Exactly. Mashallah, viewers, alhamdulillah. We've been speaking to Mr. Anas Said Sandu, and he is actually a young Islamic researcher and international relations expert as well. In fact, today we've been discussing the topic, the personality of Fatima to Zahra, the Prophet's daughter. And alhamdulillah, Sheikh has done very well in tackling most of the questions. We want you to stay tuned with us as we go on our very quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Or buying someone a phone, does God find reasons of giving you all?
Machine love the unnecessary party, following women, buying irrelevant stuff.
The secrets, if I should call it, I wonder if they are secrets. I don't think they are secrets.
I didn't have a list of things I wanted from a guy, but then it was just the connection. We just clicked that you want in a man, in your California love, California digger.
For me, I first look at physical appearance.
It embraces and entails an entire person.
That man up there who is protecting all of us. We seem to forget. We don't read our Bibles.
Young adults, showing this and every Saturday at 5 p.m. and repeated on Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
With these 4 W's and H, I ask you, what is a woman? When is a woman? Why is a woman? How is a woman? And who is a woman in Islam? Al-Imra means the woman. It's a show that talks about everything about the woman in Islam. This show is going to be educative, interactive, and inspirational. Make a date with me, Murjan Lawan, on this channel to digest issues with regards to the woman in Islam. See you then and stay blessed.
Come back, dear viewers. Today, it's been another very insightful edition of your favorite religious talk show, Islamic Insight, on Faith TV. Today, we've been discussing the topic, the personality of Fatima Zahra, the Prophet's daughter. And with me in the studio is Mr. Said Anas Sando, who is a young Islamic researcher and international relations expert as well. Before we move on, viewers, I want to remind you that my costume is provided by Bansi Clothing, and Bansi Clothing is located in North Legon, Libya Quarters, Accra, and you can reach Bansi Clothing on 0268 558 797 0268 558 797. You can keep your contributions coming in to 0542 965 007, and inshallah, before we leave here, we shall read your messages. Now quickly, Sheikh, before we move on, I want to read a message that came in. This one says, Bismillah, Salam, Bismillah. When writing or even contemplating about the greatness of a personality, one needs a gold standard with which to compare the strengths and weaknesses of that individual. However, if that person is herself the gold standard, then it makes it impossible to adequately describe her greatness. Madam Fatima Az-Zahra was such a personality. Her merits are unmatched by any woman known in history, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself testifies in the Quran about her purity and piety. Mashallah, that's one of your messages that came in, and we've read it loud enough for you to actually know that whenever your messages come in, inshallah, we will read it to the hearing of the viewers. Now, Sheikh, we want to move on to our next batch of very important questions. Knowing the history of Sayyida Fatima, the Holy Prophet's daughter, we understand that she died angry. I mean, the question is, why should the Holy Prophet's daughter die in an angry state? What prompted her anger? And why did she die so unsatisfied? You understand me? We want to understand from you, why should a prophet's daughter die angry? You know, we expected that with the traits that we are speaking about her, all the traits that we are mentioning, we expected that she would be someone whose death should be a good note, and Muslims should, you know, actually celebrate because she lived well. But it sounds bitter and grim because she died angry. Why? What is the explanation for that?
Yes, as I indicated earlier on, it was as a result of some altercations that occurred immediately after the demise of the Holy Prophet.
Okay.
Well, it all had to do with her misunderstanding with the first caliph, Abu Bakr ibn Quhafa. That is the first caliph.
Okay.
Well, before the demise of the Holy Prophet, the Holy Prophet gave Fatima Zahra a particular inheritance known as Fadak.
Okay.
Fadak was a land that was relinquished by the Jews to the Holy Prophet as a sign of peace treaty to live in a peaceful coexistence with the Holy Prophet.
Okay.
And this particular land was given to Fatima Zahra by the Holy Prophet Muhammad. So immediately after the demise of the Holy Prophet, Fatima claimed that land. It was already being used by the household of the Holy Prophet, but Abu Bakr, according to historians, confiscated the land and said prophets are not to be inherited. So the arguments continued like that. Give and take arguments, and then Fatima Zahra had to tell Abu Bakr that Solomon inherited from his father David. But what is a Sulaiman Dawood, as stated by the Holy Quran?
So you think that Fatima wasn't treated fairly, and that's why she wasn't happy, even to the point of her demise.
Exactly, that is the implication, or that is what historians.
But it is a widely held view, especially within Muslims, that a prophet's daughter does not inherit him, or the prophet has no inheritors. That is, heirs. The prophet has no heirs. That is because he is a prophet. And it is widely reported in most of the Sihas, our 6 books of hadith, authentic hadith, spoken by the prophet, that the prophet is reported to have said that when I pass away, or on my demise, my properties are supposed to be given to charity. And that sounds to be much more reasonable, than. So I want to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was exactly the argument of Abu Bakr.
Okay.
He quoted the Holy Prophet as having said. But at the same time, it was just a clear-cut fact that most of the companions, including Imam Ali, who is considered as an infallible person, testified to Fadak being a property of Fatima Zahra, the only daughter of the Holy Prophet. And then they argued, and I think it was there were many altercations that occurred between Fatima Zahra and Abu Bakr, but fundamentally it was the issue of Fadak, because Fadak was clearly being given to Fatima Zahra. Even when the Holy Prophet was alive, it was being used as a farm belonging to the household of the Holy Prophet. So it was after the demise of the Holy Prophet that all these arguments started. And Fatima cited many reasons. Yes.
Okay. Fatima gave many reasons.
Yes, correct.
And I think that generally, viewers, I would advise that usually we do go, round and read more of some of these stories so that we can get better enlightenment. It is not always good that we hold on to one view, that this is what I have heard, and so that is the truth. Let us ask the very hard questions in Islam, and inshallah, a show like the Islamic Insight promises to always deliver such very hard questions to you. Alhamdulillah. Now, Sheikh, we want to understand one thing. Initially, when you started telling us of the demise of Nana Fatima, you spoke of the fact that she died at least about 75 or 95 days after her father's demise. We want you to recount to us the events that led to her demise, because it is a very, very controversial issue in Islam. It is untouchable because it could inflame, a whole lot of controversial thoughts here and there. Now, towards this end, there are two views. There are two distinct views on the manner of her death held by the Shia's, school of thought, and then the Sunni school of thought. As I said, we always ask the hard questions here, and Sheikh is getting ready to answer it. Now, the Shias maintain that her house was burnt down, and that afflicted pains upon her, and she even was expecting, a child, and she had to miscarriage, in that course of the pain, and then she passed away through that. Now, the Sunni school of thought also maintains the view that she took a bath early in the morning, put on new clothes, and lay down on her bed and asked for her husband. When her husband came in, she told the husband that she had an appointment with Allah because the Prophet had already informed her that she would pass away just after he does, and which I have also read in some of our Sihas. What is in these two views that makes it so controversial, and which, of course, is the truth that you would advise that we follow?
You see, in the nutshell, the Holy Prophet said, "Inna al-haq la yurab bir-rijal, irif al-haq tarif ahlahu." The truth is not known through people. Know the truth, and you will know its people. Well, the historical antecedent that led to her martyrdom was, after the demise of the Holy Prophet, the Holy Prophet was not even buried yet when companions were there fighting about who should succeed the Holy Prophet. So,
and I'm sure we would have a different session of the show to discuss some of these very, important topics. Inshallah.
So it was incumbent that some of the reputable personalities must give their we call it in Arabic bay'ah,
Okay.
must give their consent
Okay.
to whoever assumes the position as the Caliph of the Holy Prophet.
Okay.
So Omar took that particular task to seek allegiance from some companions of both men and women,
Okay.
in order to establish the legitimacy of Abu Bakr as a caliph. So they came to the Holy Prophet's house. For that matter, Imam Ali and then Fatima were inside, and Fatima was pregnant. The Holy Prophet saw the pregnancy and even prophesied that she was going to give birth to a male child.
Okay.
And if she gives birth, then the name will be Mohsen. So Fatima was inside, and then according to Ibn Hisham, Ibn Hisham is a Sunni history book.
Okay.
Yes. So Ibn Hisham recounted that Omar, the second caliph, threatened to burn the house if they do not come out to pay allegiance. So Fatima refused to open the door. And you know, those days there were no sophisticated doors like what we have in this contemporary world. So it was said that Omar pushed the door, and then the door hit her tummy, and then she had miscarriage, and that led to her death. And when she was on her deathbed, she told her husband that she will soon die based on the miscarriage she had.
Okay.
Wash me in secret, and shroud me in secret, and bury me in secret, and do not let any of these companions to witness my burial. So we asked, when I was in Boku, we asked one of the Hajj agents who frequents Hajj every year, that if you go to Hajj, to Mecca or Medina, ask any of the royal families, family members, where is the exact spot
Good.
of Fatima Tazara's
on that question, where was Fatima buried?
Yes.
Now we have also, learnt that she was buried in Jannatul Baqi, which is a cemetery in Medina. Are you saying that this is not true?
Based on the question we asked one of the Hajj agents, that because we had an argument, similar argument, that if he goes to Mecca, he should take it into account to ask one of the old members in the royal family the exact spot of Fatima Tazara's graveyard, because almost all the companions who were buried in Jannatul Baqi's graveyard are known. So he went, and then we asked him. Then he asked about 7 royal family members in Saudi Arabia, and none of them was able to tell the exact spot. And now he asked that why is it that
so the reason that Fatima's burial place is not known is that she directed the husband that bury me in a place that nobody would locate me, so that generations will come and ask why I was killed in such cold blood. And this is serious.
So none of the royal family members was able to tell the exact spot she was buried, because it was an agreement made with her husband, and then
so till date, nobody knows where the prophet's daughter was buried at.
Nobody.
Till date, nobody at all knows. And that's a very important question we need to be asking ourselves. If Muslims everywhere don't know, then I think that there should be a reason for us to constitute another, episode to intensely discuss why and what exactly could have been the hidden reason. You explained something shortly, but because we don't have time, we may not be able to, answer. But we would like you to, in some 2 minutes, just do some continuation of it for us so that we can wrap up the show.
Yes, so as I indicated earlier on, it was as a result of her will that she made to her husband, that the husband also executed the will accordingly. So it was even said that after the following day, companions were asking that there was a rumor in Medina that the Holy Prophet's daughter, beloved daughter, died and was buried without our knowledge. So they went to the graveyard, that is Jannatul Baqi, to see which particular graveyard is fresh. And unfortunately that day many people were buried. And then Imam Ali, according to historians, decided to level the graveyard so that nobody would know the exact spot. He leveled the graveyard, and no one was able to know the exact spot.
Mashallah. So nobody knows the exact spots that Sayyida Fatima was buried. And it is a sad story that I think that we should all do our best and find out more so that we can seek clarification to most of the hard-pressing questions. Now, Sheikh proceeds, Mr. Anas Said Sando, posits that in fact her death was due to some scuffles that had taken place because people needed allegiance from her to say that I am the Islamic leader, and then she disagreed, and because of that, what happened? People had to actually rise up against her. So do you say that towards this end you go with the story that the house was burnt down and it affected her?
Yes.
Wow.
And it is stated not by Shiite historians,
okay,
but by Sunni historians.
By Sunni historians as well.
Tari Yaqubi has stated it.
Everybody.
Tari Ibn Hisham has stated it, and then Tari al-Baghdadi. Many history books have.
But then the argument lies in the fact that the Prophet had told her that quickly after his demise, she would be following. So wasn't it something, that she knew?
Exactly.
Or what is your take on that too?
Exactly. When the Holy Prophet was on his deathbed, Fatima, he called Fatima and then spoke in a low tone in her ear, and then she was crying. When she was going, the Holy Prophet called her back again and then spoke to her again. This time around, she was smiling. So it was after the demise of the Holy Prophet that companions who happened to be around asked her that when the Holy Prophet was on his deathbed, he called you twice. You were weeping, and then the second time he called you and then spoke to you in your ear, and you were rejoicing. What happened? And then she said, yes, the first time he called me and then notified me that very soon he will be leaving the world. That was why I was expressing my sadness. And then the second call was that he told me that very soon I will be joining him. That was why I was yes.
Mashallah. So she knew that she would die after her father, that she would join her father soon, but then the events that led to it are events that Islamic Insight would, inshallah, in a subsequent episode seek to clarify. Mashallah, viewers, if you just joined us, today we are just closing the show, Sheikh. We've been discussing the topic, the personality of Fatima Zahra, and some of your messages have come in, and this one says, because a very good Muslim loves what Prophet loves and hates what he hates, that is the reason why we love Sayyidah Fatima Zahra. Thank you. In fact, most of the messages that have come in seek to actually extol the Prophet's daughter, and I'm sure that many people who have heard of her story are pleased with her lifestyle, and inshallah we shall explore most of these questions. Now, before we sign off, viewers, you are reminded that my clothing is brought to you by Bansi Clothing. You can locate Bansi Clothing in North Legon, Libya Quarters, or you can reach Bansi Clothing on 0268 558 797, 0268 558 797. And in fact, there is joyous news for you to join in. The First National Bank has been given a universal approval to operate, so it will now be known as JN Bank. First National Bank would now be known as JN Bank after the universal approval given to it to operate, and it will be unveiled on the 18th of September 2014 with a new logo at the Coconut Grove Regency. This is very good news. You can always watch into any branch of the JN Bank so that you can get your decoder and continuously enjoy your favorite religious talk show. Alhamdulillah, it's been very educative, interesting, and exciting. Make a date with us next week, inshallah, as we discuss another very insightful edition of a topic on your favorite religious talk show, Islamic Insights. May Allah continuously be with you and take good care of yourself. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Faith TV, closer to your maker.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Idris Sajjad Topo. Pre-revolutionary stage. People can rebel before a revolution should happen.
So as long as Muslims come out and they mount the rostrum or the pulpit and preach peace, we should exemplify peace.
I mean, we could see this, example, what the Prophet he himself does. When it comes to the last 10 days, he entered into seclusion.
So the price of Laylatul Qadr is, as Allah mentioned,
watch me this and every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. as I bring to you your favorites.
Example, what the prophet he himself does. When it comes to the last 10 days, he entered into seclusion.
So the price of Laylatul Qadr is, as Allah mentioned, khayrun min alfi shahr.
Watch me this and every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. as I bring to you your favorites and most educative religious talk show, Islamic Insight, on Faith TV. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
With these 4 W's and H, I ask you, what is a woman? When is a woman? Why is a woman? How is a woman? And who is a woman in Islam?